Start with the panel. All in all, it's pretty clean. A couple little chips in the paint. Most of these old Rangers had that, especially the Ranger 2. Greetings from Terry here in D-Lab, Johnson Control Center. And today, I'm going to be firing up a Johnson Ranger 2 that has not seen power for at least 25 years. So hopefully she'll come up in one piece, no smoke, right? So first, let's take a look at it. We'll hit the front panel, flip it around, do the back, look at her underside, then I'm going to bring it up with a Variac, nice and slow. Here we go. Let's start with the front panel. All in all, it's pretty clean. A couple little chips in the paint, but most of these old Rangers had that, especially the Ranger 2. Got some dirt and grime up here on the VFO bezel. The meter's intact. You can see the knobs have their share of dust and contamination on them. VFO tunes. She's a little on the stiff side, but it does tune. Everything looks original. Now let's take a look and see if there's any crystals. Oh, look at there, a cobweb. Okay. Yep, she's got a couple crystals in there. So now let's take a look at the back. So now we'll look top side. I'm actually going to shoot this at two different angles so you can see everything. It appears to have the original 7027 modulators. Looks like it's got the original modulation transformer. And if you look down here, you'll see pop rivets indicating this is a factory built unit, which is great. You can see a bunch of contamination here. Okay, but the aluminum is clean underneath. She's not all corroded. That's nice. There's our push-to-talk relay, keyer platform, rectum fire tube. Over there, 6146, and a undamaged coil assembly. A lot of these I see that are smashed because guys accidentally roll them over when they're working on them. So it doesn't look like anybody's been in here messing around. Now let's take a look from the other angle. Alright, she's flipped around. I wanted to focus down here on the old push-to-talk relay. That looks like one of the old Potter and Brumfields. See a black beauty right there. Little keyer tubes, back of the VFO, and I also noticed that all the screws are in this VFO side cover, which is also a great indication that nobody's been in here messing around. Alright, there's the old 6146. There's the RF coil there. Transformers, etc., etc. And it's got the original shorting plug, and there is the Johnson logo. Let's go underside. Alright, here we are bottom side. And as you can see, she's clean and pretty much untouched. I see no signs of past maintenance. Everything is there that should be. There's the old band switch. Operates nice and smooth. There's that old high voltage filter cap that's always bad. I'll be changing that for sure. And there's those crystals I was telling you about that were installed in it. So this looks like a great candidate for restoration. Now, let's see if it'll power up. Alright, so here we go, initial power up. Now what I'm going to do is kill the shop lights so we can watch it glow if it decides to. I've got a Variac over here. Okay, it's a little Tenma 3 amp type. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take the operate switch and go to standby. I'm watching the plate current on the transmitter. So if I bring it up and I see that go wild, I'm going to kill it. Alright, so here we go. Right there is about 40 volts applied to the radio. So far so good. Let me check my current flow. I'm pulling about half amp. Alright, I'm going to bring it up a little bit more. Here's 60 volts. Pulling about 3/4 of an amp. Once again, so far so good. I'm going to bring the voltage up a little higher. There's about 80 volts. Drawing about 0.8 amps. And the current is remaining stable. I'm not seeing any jumping. And if you look, the dial's on. So we know that the power transformer is not shorted at least. I don't know if I have high voltage yet. So that's another good indication. Let's go a little higher. There's about 95 volts. I'm pulling about 1.1 amps. Let's take a look inside and see if we got some tubes glowing. Yep, you can see the modulators glowing. I don't see anything, I don't hear anything, no fizzles, no lightning. I think we're in good shape. So next step, I'm going to keep it at about 100 volts. We're drawing about 1.25 amps. I have no plate current. I just went to grid. Let's see if there's any grid activity if I go into tune. So I'm going to turn the lights back on. We'll go from there. Alright, we're still running at 100 volts. I'm drawing about 1.25 amps. We're in grid position. We're going to go CW mode. I'm going to turn on 0 and see if we get any grid current. CW, the old idiot light came on. Got some grid. I'm on 40 meters. So we've got grid current. That's great. Now, see what our plate's doing. And at this point, I'm going to have to adjust the final. Okay, so here we go. So you can see our plate current. Not getting much output though. Only about 5 watts. But remember, I'm only running it at about 100 volts. So now, I'm going to play my coupling, because I'm probably too low on coupling, and that's why we're not getting output. Let's see what we got. Still in plate. There we go. Now we're starting to see about 30 watts. Okay, so I could probably bring my coupling up a little bit more, but at this point, that's all I wanted to see. I've got plate current, so we know the high voltage is good. We have grid, so we know that everything appears to be working. Now, let's go to our modulation set point, and I'm going to get a microphone, and let's see if this thing will actually plate modulate. Here we go. I've got a D104 plugged into the Ranger. Meters at modulation. I'm going to go to phone position. You'll see a slight increase in plate current. Now I'm going to take the audio all the way down and key her up, and I've got about 55 milliamps of modulation current. That's pretty good. That's almost by the book. Now see if I got any modulation. Yep, sure do. I don't think this Ranger is going to need a whole lot to get her going. Should I be surprised that a Johnson transmitter that hasn't been on in 25 years would come right up and all functions seem to operate fine? No. They're a great radio. That's why D-Lab runs primarily Johnson equipment. And my choice for receivers are Nationals. They make a great team. This Ranger 2 is on its way for restoration. Obviously it needs a good cleanup and lube and caps, etc., etc. But a big success for the resurrection of the Johnson Ranger 2.